Claude Code can run you anywhere from $20 to $200 a month, depending on your plan. This open source proxy lets you run the official version of Claude Code through your own local models or free APIs through services like OpenRouter. And it actually works really well. I've been using this on my NVIDIA 5090 with Qwen 3.6 27B, and it runs Claude Code brilliantly. Today, I'm going to be walking through the full setup process and run through some tests so we can see just how well this thing actually performs on local hardware. So first things first, you're going to need the official version of Claude Code, which is very easy to install. This is the official repo right here. I'll put this link in the description below, but you're just going to need to copy one of these links depending on the system you have. In my case, I have Windows. So it's as simple as just copying this link and then opening up a new terminal window. I'll just open up one here. I already have this installed, but I might as well just run through this real quick. And it's as easy as copy, paste, enter, and then you have Claude Code fully installed on your system. So once we've got Claude Code fully installed, we can navigate now to this repo here. This is free-claude-code. And what this repo does, it takes the official version of Claude Code and it intercepts it using a proxy in order to use other models. So you could use an API model, you could use, like we're going to be using today, a local model, or any other type of model that is supported you can use this with, which is really cool. And you can even set up multiple models. So you could essentially say, hey, I want Haiku to be this model, Sonnet to be this model, and Opus to be this model, because you'll see what I'm talking about when we go through and we actually run this. It'll still say that you're running on Sonnet, Opus, or Haiku in the UI, but you're actually using a different model on the back end. You're essentially like tricking Claude Code into thinking that it's using a different model than it actually is. So if I scroll down here, let's go ahead and install this. This is for Mac OS and then Windows. That's what I'm going to be using today. And it looks a little bit daunting, but it's really super simple. It's honestly just copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. So let's go ahead and start this. Let's go with the Windows version here. Go back to our terminal and say yes, paste anyways. And it's just gonna be installing each command. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit enter on each one of these. So I've already got Python set up, but if you don't have Python, it'll install that there. So now that's the first step. We're already done there. Let's go and get the next step here, the clone and configure. So I'm just going to copy this, go back to our terminal here, paste anyways. And now it is installing the repo. And then one more command here. This is for the environment. So now you've got the full thing set up. It's super simple. Just install Claude Code and those two commands and you're pretty much almost there. Now, the only thing we have to do is go ahead and edit our environment file. So I'm just going to type in notepad.env. All right, so I'm going to expand this here. And in my case, I am using LM Studio. If you guys need a full tutorial on how to set up LM Studio and the different models and everything, go ahead and check out my other video. I'll link that in the description below. So as you can see here, there is quite a few different options you can go through. You can use OpenRouter, DeepSeek, Kimi, Wafer Configure. I'm not even sure what that is, to be honest. LLM, CCP, so that's a different kind of local provider that you could use if you were trying to run this through the Linux-based Llama, or there's Ollama as well. So that's this one here. So if you are running this locally, there are a few different options. And like I said, I'm using LM Studio today. So in my case, I'm going to be going down and changing the LM Studio here. Right now it is set to localhost 1234 v1. That is probably fine, but I'm just going to make sure I specify the actual IP address of my system here. So 168.1.5, and then the port is 1234 v1 for LM Studio. And then the next thing that we're going to edit here is this model. So right here, this is what I was talking about. You can specify different model types. So you could say one for Opus when you're in Claude Code, one for Sonnet, and then one for Haiku. In this case, I'm just going to be using one model here. I am not going to be using multiple models, but that is something that you can set up for like essentially orchestration. If you wanted a model that's like really smart, like Qwen 2.6 using OpenRouter, you could put that one on like Opus, and then you could have the local model doing some like the grunt work and put that on like Sonnet or Haiku. So you can set this up in a way where you could have it strategically still costing like some small API cost usage, but it's still mostly running on local, which is really cool. So in this case here, I'm going to just be typing in LM Studio as the provider. And then you want to use the exact name from whatever program you're running your local models on. So in my case, an LM Studio here, let's just go ahead and bring this up. And this is the exact string right here. And I already have this loaded into the graphics card, and then paste that in here. So now the model is LM Studio Qwen 3.6 27B, which if you guys are unfamiliar with 27B, it is a spectacular model, super efficient, really small. And it is actually incredible what this model can do in comparison to even cloud models, which I did another full comparison video of Qwen 3.6, and I even put it up against Opus in one of my tests. So if that's something that interests you, go ahead and check that out. I will also link that down below in the description. And then there's a bunch of other settings here that you can look at. This is pretty elaborate what you can do with this. Now we're just kind of doing a basic setup today, but you can even set this up with Telegram or have voice integration or a Discord, or you can even set up different agents. Like there is quite a bit you can do with this, which is really cool. And I'll probably be testing out some of these other features later on and potentially even doing a more advanced video. We'll see. So let's go ahead and save that and then close. And then the next thing you want to do is start the proxy in a terminal window. So I'm just going to copy this here. And this may not work in Windows. I think I was having issues with it prior. It's probably going to block me in Windows. Let's see if it runs here. So it's essentially just starting up a proxy, and you have to keep this window open at all times in order to get this to run correctly. So it looks like it actually worked this time. The first time I ran this, it was actually like blocking it in Windows using its like app safety. So if you do run into that issue, there's another command you can run just by running it directly through Python. So I'll put that in the description too. So now our proxy is fully up and running and pretty much fully set up at this point. And now we can run the modified version of Claude-code. So make sure you keep that one terminal open, like I said, with the proxy running. That's this one here. We want to keep this open, but we want to start a new terminal. And in my case, I'm going to be copying this command here from the GitHub repo for PowerShell. And this is the bash command, depending on your system. But I'm going to copy this command here to start Claude. And then I'm going to go to a folder. This is just a testing area that I like to use. So I'm just going to make a new folder here. I'm going to call it a note app. We're going to see if it can build a full notes app. So I'm going to open this up, and then I'm going to hold shift, right click, and then open a new PowerShell window here. And then I'm going to copy that command that I pulled from the GitHub page and hit enter. And then one thing to keep in mind, this was tripping me up a little bit earlier. If it is set to Opus, it is going to fail. The default model, if you're just setting one model, is going to be on Sonnet. So in order to fix that, you have to type in /model. And then go ahead and make sure it is on this one here. Otherwise, it will most likely fail. So let's click on Sonnet. And then let's just do a quick test here. Hello. And then go back to LM Studio. And you can see that it has invoked the model and it is processing that prompt. And it should come back with a response here. Let's go back. And it says, hello, how can I help you today? So in this case, I have a prompt I'm going to copy over and see if it can figure it out in order to run a local note-taking app. So I'm just going to copy this prompt here. I'm going to put all these prompts down in either like a Google Doc or in the description. I haven't decided yet. So it'll most likely be in a Google Doc because I think the next one is actually pretty long. So this is just a note-taking app. We're going to see how well it'll perform and if it can actually get this done. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter here. And it's going to act the exact same as Claude-code. If it needs permission for something, it's going to ask you, hey, I need permission for this. Can you approve it? And it'll be very, very similar if you've ever used Claude-code before in the past. So let's go back to LM Studio, and it is starting to process that prompt, and we'll see what it comes back with. And it looks like it is going through and trying to determine how to build a full note-taking app. And really quick, before I pause the video here, you can see that it is building a full database layer and is going through an actual like planning checklist and going through and just fully trying to build this thing out. So it's pretty cool. Like I said, it acts almost nearly the same as Claude Code if you've ever used Claude Code in the past. So again, like I said, we're going to pause this video and then see what it does when it's completed. All right, so that code generation for our Notes app took about an hour. And actually, it took a little while longer than when I did this the first time. It was about 30 minutes. And for some reason, it went back through. There were some errors and I had to go back through and try to look through the code and figure out what essentially had messed up and then go fix it. So I think that's why it took a little while longer. But let's go ahead and look at what it created for us here. So let's go to our web browser. And yeah, I did a quick preview of this before I started recording and I was blown away. This looks way better than the first time I tried to generate this Notes app. So it had pretty much everything that I asked for here. So in the top right corner, got a nice night mode, dark mode, which is really cool. And then it did a bunch of different test notes here. And it also added this sidebar that I asked for. Let's see if it collapses. Yep, it's a collapsible sidebar. And it's got all the different notes shown here in all notes. And then let's see if any of these will populate. So these are the different folders like ideas. None of this has been made by me, by the way. This was all made by the local AI to do some like testing. And so it's got folders and then it has tags as well. Okay, let's just do a quick test here. Let's do a new note. Call this test. Well, since there's a bunch of tests in here, we'll call it test James so I can find it. And then test 1, 2. And actually, let's try putting it into the ideas folder. And let's see, let's try the brainstorm tag, save note. So, okay, brainstorm tag. Okay, so it did add it here. It added in the tags, and then if we go to the ideas, it showed up here as well. So it looks like it's fully working. So this is pretty much a functional notes app at this point. I mean, this was just pretty much a proof of concept, but honestly, this might be a pretty cool idea to run with for just a personal notes app. So you don't have to deal with, you know, the big companies like Google for Keep or Evernote. That company is charge so much money now, it's just crazy. I had to drop them a long time ago. But that'd be kind of cool to try to make your own notes app, or maybe even make something that's like an Evernote clone. Like that'd be a good idea for something that's like personal. Not that I'd ever like host it, but this is pretty cool by and large. And as you can see here, right now it's just hosted on a local host. So it's using like a node to host this on a local host at port 3001. So it's nothing that I can access without tunneling into my network at this point, but still really cool proof of concept. So now let's move on to our final test, and that is to create a Tetris app. I thought that'd be a pretty cool idea, especially for something testing out local AI. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm just gonna create a new folder in our Claude Code folder, call it Tetris. And then we're gonna start a terminal. So holding Shift, right click, and then start a PowerShell window in this window here. And then same thing, we gotta use our modified launch command, hit enter. And you guys can obviously do this in like VS Code or anything else. It's the same exact process. You just have to start a terminal window or even in like anti-gravity and just run that command and it'll work the exact same way. So I actually have a prompt here that Claude helped me prompt engineer. So this is the full prompt. I essentially said, hey, I want you to create a Tetris prompt for Claude Code. And it came up with this whole thing here. The only thing I really changed was, or had it changed, was some of the controls. I wanted it to be up arrow is shooting the block down. Down is like the soft land, and then left, right, and then space bar to flip the blocks around. So let's just copy this here and see how well it can handle this prompt. All right, so just sent that to Claude Code, and then let's look at our LM Studio here. And yeah, we can confirm that it has invoked the model and it is starting to code this fully for us. So what this prompt is doing is it's going to create a HTML style Tetris game that's like somewhat 2D. So I'm hoping that it can figure this out. We'll see what it ends up doing for us. Okay, so that finished way faster than I thought it would. 13 minutes and 30 seconds. So let's go ahead and see what it produced for us. All right, so it automatically opened this tab and enter to start. Okay. And wow, that looks really good. There is already one problem I can see is the left, right, and the controls are not working at all. So up is shooting it down, but it's shooting it in the center. But the blocks look really cool. So obviously it didn't fully get this figured out. This is going to need some quick tweaking. So let's just see if it can figure it out one more time, then we'll come back here. All right, so I said I can't control the blocks with the specified controls and the blocks are not aligning correctly. When pressing the up arrow, they dropped to the center. Can you fix this? So we'll come back and see if it can figure this out. All right, so that fix took about 10 minutes on my 5090 running Qwen 3.6 27B, and let's see what it generated for us. So I got Tetris up here. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so looks like the preview is not generating correctly, as you can see, but let's see if everything else is working. So yeah, the preview is all messed up, but it looks like everything else is working pretty much as I intended. There is some small colliding issues, as you can see with some of the blocks, like the blue and the light blue line. They don't seem to mesh together correctly, but by and large, yep, the line works. So everything is working pretty much as intended, except for some small visuals, and the preview is not working very well either. So pretty cool, honestly, especially considering this was all fully done locally with Claude Code. Now, just for comparison's sake, let's go ahead and check out what Claude Opus 4.7 actually can do here. And here's a quick comparison of Opus 4.7. I gave it, like I said, the exact same prompt. So let's see what it generated here. So enter. Okay, and this already, I think, looks way more refined. I mean, obviously, we are comparing trillion parameter cloud models to the 27 billion parameter Qwen model, and which kind of crazy. The Qwen model is getting 80% there compared to Opus 4.7. So yeah, this obviously looks way better, runs way better. It's like seems like it's fully functional, polished game, and yeah, obviously Opus is going to do a better job in terms of coding, and I'm sure ChatGPT 5.5 would be similar. If you guys want those prompts, like I said, I'm going to be posting those in a Google Drive link, so you guys can generate these for yourself as well. And one thing I didn't really test on the other one, let's see if like the hold function works here. So it says C to hold, okay, and P to pause, and R to restart. So yeah, everything is working perfectly with this Claude version. And honestly, this is actually pretty cool. I might even try to make this even better. Like, this is pretty awesome here. So anyway, that'll do it for this video. If you guys have any questions on how to get this all fully set up, let me know down below in the comments. I plan on doing some more testing on local AI, as well as some different AI tutorials, Hermes, Openclaw, some things like that. So if any of that kind of thing interests you, consider subscribing to the channel. And as always, have a wonderful day.